Rangers are gearing up for what's expected to be a frantic and defining transfer window, after what can only be described as a disappointing domestic campaign. The pressure is mounting at Ibrox not just from the supporters, but from within the club itself, as the gap to Celtic has only grown wider. But before the focus fully shifts to rebuilding for next season, there's a massive European night looming that could yet bring some glory back to Govan. The Light Blues are set to walk out onto the pitch at Saint Mamés to take on Athletic Club in the quarterfinal second leg of the Europa League, and there's a real belief they could shock Europe tonight. It's the kind of night that can define careers, lift the club's spirit, and reignite the connection between players and fans. Barry Ferguson, now at the helm of this Rangers side, admitted in his pre-match press conference that guiding the team to the semi-finals of a European competition would rank right up there with the highlights of his playing days. This is a man who lived through the magic of that unforgettable run to Manchester back in 2008, and to be standing on the touchline now leading the club he's always loved is something he never imagined 6 weeks ago. But as he said himself, it's not about him. It's about the players, about the badge, and about proving themselves at the highest level. The squad landed in Spain with quiet confidence, and Ferguson didn't shy away from the challenge ahead. Athletic Club haven't lost a match at home since the early stages of the season, and the Basque crowd will be right on top of them from the first whistle. But Rangers have shown in the past they can rise to the occasion when it matters. Ferguson made it clear his team needs to be disciplined, composed, and clever in possession. He knows this Athletic side will throw bodies forward, press high, and try to force mistakes. But when Rangers do win the ball, they'll need to be brave and make it count. Playing attractive football is part of the plan. But first and foremost, they'll need to be workmanlike and organized. That's the identity he's trying to build. Ferguson also opened up about the emotional side of his journey so far as manager. He admitted he misses playing. Of course he does, but right now the next best thing is being on that touchline, living every second, every challenge, every goal with the players. And you can sense that his passion is rubbing off on the group. He's told the squad to embrace these nights, to live them fully, because these are the moments they'll remember long after the final whistle. It's not just another match. It's a chance to write a new chapter in the club's history. But off the pitch, things are far less romantic. The club's transfer dealings from the previous summer are under the microscope, and one name in particular is taking most of the heat. Nedim Bahrami. Signed for a hefty fee of £3.4 million, the Albanian midfielder arrived with high expectations. He was supposed to bring creativity, control, and energy to the middle of the park. A statement signing someone who could help bridge the gap to Celtic and bring a new dimension to Philippe Clement's system. Instead, what the fans have seen is a player struggling to find consistency, influence matches, or even secure a regular spot in the starting 11. It's now been 8 months since Bahrami arrived, and the optimism that once surrounded his signing has all but disappeared. With Celtic sitting 15 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership and seemingly cruising to yet another title, the scrutiny has intensified. Pundits have not held back, and supporters are growing more and more vocal in their criticism. One commentator even went as far as saying Rangers got their trousers pulled down in the deal. A brutal but not uncommon sentiment these days. In a recent YouTube roundtable, former players and pundits discussed Bahrami's future in blunt terms. "He's done, isn't he?" was the question posed, and it hung in the air with a kind of resignation that tells you everything. Ross McCormick tried to defend the midfielder, briefly pointing to a slightly improved second-half performance against Aberdeen before he was subbed off, but the conversation quickly turned sour again. Why, they asked, is the club insisting on playing an underperforming import when there are young lads from the academy chomping at the bit for a chance? The debate only intensified when Aidan Mallion's name was brought up. Just 16 years. Old and already earning a place on the bench, the youngster represents exactly what many believe the club should be doing more of, trusting its own talent pipeline. With the midfield looking disjointed and ineffective far too often, this season fans are beginning to question the logic of spending millions on players who don't deliver when there are homegrown options ready to step up, especially in a position as crucial as central midfield, where leadership, vision, and consistency are non-negotiable. Bahrami's future at Ibrox now hangs by a thread. There's still time technically for him to turn things around, but the growing frustration among the Fan base suggests that patience is running thin. And with a major squad overhaul likely on the horizon, it wouldn't be a surprise to see the club move in a different direction. Meanwhile, back in Spain, Captain James Tavernier has been speaking about the match and what it means for the squad. He described the San Mamés as a beautiful stadium and admitted he's hoping this won't be his last visit, especially with the final of next year's Europa League set to be held there. But for now, the focus is purely on getting through tonight. Tavernier is confident. He believes Rangers are in the driving seat despite the tough environment, and he expects his teammates to leave everything on the pitch, whether they're starting or coming off the bench. He knows what it takes to get through these kinds of ties. Just 3 years ago, Rangers made it all the way to the final under Giovanni van Bronckhorst, and the memories of that run still burn bright in the minds of many players and fans alike. Tavernier reflected on that journey with a hint of sadness, admitting he's never watched the final back, given how painful that penalty shootout loss was. But at the same time, that experience, going toe-to-toe with Europe's best, taught them what it means to play for each other, to dig deep when things get tough, and to stay united no matter what. And that's exactly the mentality they'll need tonight. It's not going to be easy. They'll suffer, no doubt about it, but they'll suffer together as a team. And when the chance to attack comes, they'll need to take it with conviction. That's what carried them through the first leg, and that's what Ferguson and Tavernier will be hoping to see again under the Spanish lights. What's impressed most about this group is how they've responded when the odds are against them. Whether it's digging in with 10 men holding their nerve away from home, or grinding out results when things aren't going their way, this Rangers side has shown resilience in big European moments. Ferguson praised the team's mentality after the first leg, where discipline and tactical awareness kept them in a tie. The goal now is to build on that, to carry that same fire into what will be a hostile and emotionally charged atmosphere in Bilbao. Tavernier made a point of highlighting how important the supporters are in nights like this. Thousands have traveled to Spain, many spending their hard-earned wages to back the team on foreign soil, and many more will be glued to screens back in Glasgow and across the country. The players know this isn't just another European fixture, it's a night that could define their season. One big result could erase months of frustration and disappointment and replace it with belief and momentum heading into the final stretch. But that belief must be earned. Athletic Club are no mugs. They're a proud, historic side steeped in tradition, and with a core group of players who have played together for years. Their pressing game is relentless, their home form is imperious, and their fans turn the San Mamés into a cauldron. Rangers will need to show real character, defending with everything staying compact and being clinical when the opportunities come. And when they don't have the ball, which will be often, it'll be about discipline, structure, and sheer work rate. There's also a sense that this match might shape more than just the rest of this campaign. It could influence the club's entire summer strategy. If Rangers go through tonight, they're one step away from a European final. That's a selling point for future signings, a confidence boost for current players, and a reminder to fans that there's still magic in this team. But if they crash out, especially without putting up a proper fight, the pressure to overhaul the squad and rethink the approach will only intensify. The current mood surrounding the team is one of cautious optimism. There's frustration, yes, especially after falling so far behind domestically, but there's also hope. Hope that Ferguson's leadership can inspire something special. Hope that Tavernier Golson and the senior figures in the squad can steady the ship and deliver when it matters most. And hope that the younger players, the ones knocking on the door, get their chance to show they belong at this level. For players like Barami, this is a chance to silence critics, to show why the club invested in them. It's not just about ability anymore, it's about character, about stepping up when the lights are brightest. Because if he and others can't rise to the occasion, now the writing may be on the wall. There's also talk around Ibrox about what comes next. With Celtic closing in on a record-extending 55th league title, the sense of urgency has never been greater. The gap isn't just in points, it's in recruitment, execution, and consistency. Ferguson and the board know that the upcoming transfer window can't be business as usual. It needs to be sharp, decisive, and strategic. Deadwood needs to go. Quality needs to come in. And the academy, it has to be taken seriously. Players like Aidan Mallion aren't just filling out the bench, they're the future, and they deserve real chances, not just token appearances. The next few weeks will tell us a lot about where Rangers really are. Can they go toe-to-toe with one of Spain's best and come out on top? Can the squad show enough fight to suggest there's a core worth building around? Can the board make the right calls, learning from the mistakes of last summer? But all of that comes later. For now, it's about tonight, about 90 minutes in the Basque Country, about silencing the doubters, proving the critics wrong, and showing Europe what Rangers Football Club still stands for. It's about grit, about passion, about unity, the kind of performance that reminds the footballing world that Rangers never back down. And if they do it, if they get the job done under those floodlights, then anything becomes possible. Another semi-final, another shot at European glory, and maybe, just maybe, a spark that lights up the path forward. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Just when Rangers fans thought they could rely on their dynamic new midfield engine, a worrying rumor has begun to swirl around Ibrox. Could Mohamed DIOMANDE, the Ivorian gem who's captured hearts with his flair and drive, be set to miss a pivotal clash against Atletico Bilbao? With whispers echoing through the training ground and supporters holding their breath, the timing couldn't be worse. The stakes are rising, and the uncertainty around Diomande's availability has lit a fire under the Rangers faithful since arriving. From Nordjylland via the Right to Dream Academy, Diomande has carved out a unique place in the heart of Rangers midfield. His journey from the streets of Ouassakara in Abidjan to the electric roar of Ibrox has been nothing short of inspiring. In just a few short months, he's made a major impact, both on the pitch and in the minds of fans. His strength on the ball, eye for a pass, and powerful dribbling have turned him into one of Philippe Clement's key weapons. But now, with Bilbao looming, those same fans are left wondering, will their midfield dynamo take the pitch? Sources close to the club suggest that Diomande has been nursing a minor knock picked up in training earlier this week. While nothing has been confirmed officially, the player was notably absent from the most recent open session, a red flag that sent speculation into overdrive. Some insiders say it's merely a precaution, a minor strain being monitored day by day. Others fear it may be more serious, with Rangers keen to avoid any aggravation that could jeopardize the run-in. In either case, it's the silence from the club that's most telling and perhaps most worrying. And yet, if there's one thing fans have learned about Mohamed Diomande, it's that he thrives on challenges. From debuting in Denmark at just 18 to netting goals for Rangers mere weeks after landing in Glasgow, the lad's resilience is woven into his story. Should he be ruled out, it would undoubtedly be a blow. But if there's a chance, however slim, that he can suit up and help orchestrate the midfield against Bilbao, don't count him out. Diomande's spirit has never been one to shy away from the big nights. For now, all eyes are on the next team sheet. The clash with Atletico Bilbao promises to be a European night to remember, or one that slips through the fingers. With or without Diomande, Rangers will need grit, guile, and maybe a touch of magic. But there's no denying that the Ivorians' presence could tilt the balance. The Ibrox crowd can only wait, hope, and chant a little louder, because when a player like Diomande is in doubt, the entire city feels it. Greetings, fans! Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.